Hola a todos y todas y bienvenidos a un nuevo vídeo para nuestro reciente canal de YouTube. Esta vez os traemos un pequeño tutorial sobre cómo pintar piel verde de orco. Y en el anterior tutorial nos pedisteis bastante que añadiésemos los colores. Esta vez viene con colores añadidos y además vamos a hablar un poco sobre teoría del color y mezclas. Por si no tenéis estos colores en casa, os los podáis fabricar vosotros mismos. Además, vais a contar también con la versión en inglés por Garbiñe.
Hi everyone, my name is Garbiñe, I'm the owner of Aquelarre Models and I also translate David's videos. This time he has recorded a video about how to paint green skin, orc skin, and this time he will also tell you the tones he used. Please, if you like the video, subscribe, tell us what you think about the video, and that's all. We hope you enjoy the video.
Pues eso es todo, espero que lo disfrutéis, que os parezca interesante lo que vamos a ver en el pequeño tutorial que hemos preparado y sobre todo suscribíos y compartid porque nos ayudaréis bastante a crecer con el canal. Un abrazo a todos y nos vemos en el siguiente vídeo. Adiós.
Bye.
We are going to start adding our first base color to create the green skin. We will use Andrea's navy blue, but we're going to tell you how to achieve this same tone just in case you don't have this exact paint pot. We made a pretty simple image with Photoshop where you can see the colors this bottle contains. To achieve this tone, we will use a dark and intense blue, a medium gray and black. We will also show you how to achieve this tone in two different ways, one using AK and the other using Citadel. This tone you're seeing on the palette is Andrea's navy blue. This is how Andrea's navy blue looks like on a white cardboard. You will be able to see it better here. Now we will achieve this same tone using AK paints. We use dark blue, black and gray. The amount of each tone will be the same. We show you this tone on the white cardboard too. And now we do exactly the same using Citadel stones. Remember, we're doing this so that you can achieve this tone if you don't have Andrea's blue. You can create this tone using other paints. We will only use two Citadel paints. This is because Cantor Blue, one of the tones we've chosen, is more or less as if we mixed the blue tone we have used before and an intermediate gray. So we're going to mix this tone with black. You can see on the cardboard that the tones are very similar, are almost the same. Don't worry if the tone you get is a little bit different. If it's similar, it will also work. We continue showing you on the palette that the three tones are very similar. And we start adding this base color to the figure. We want this first layer to have a very good coverage. For that, we will barely dilute the paint. This navy blue is quite dark, so it should cover easily over the black primer. We cover the entire surface of the skin. For the second step, we will use dark green tones. We show you similar tones by different brands. If you don't have this dark green, you can always mix. We have the tones on the palette, and don't worry about using one or the other because it won't affect the final result. The green David used is Warpstone Green by Citadel, and he mixed it with the tone he used on the previous step. We cover almost the entire surface of the skin, excluding only the deepest parts, like for example the lines that separate the fingers or the eyes. Here you can see the final result after adding this tone. We show you the tone again on the cardboard so that you can see it better. Remember that as long as you use a similar green, the final result will be very similar. For the third step, we use a more saturated green. Here you have some options, but the most important thing is that the green needs to have quite a lot of yellow. That yellow will add a lot of saturation. We show it again on the cardboard so that you can see that they are very similar. The first one is the Citadel green and the second one is by AK. In this case, David used AKs because the Citadel one doesn't have a very good coverage, and we mix it 50-50 with the green we used on the previous step. If we add it to the figure and we see that it's too light, we can darken it a little bit. And we work in the same way. We cover a little bit less of the surface than in the previous step. For these first steps, David doesn't recommend you to use a new brush because a not very new brush will make us paint faster, and we don't need a very good tip for these steps. It's important not to dilute the paint a lot on these steps to paint faster. Doing this, we will cover the surface we want very quickly. And this would be the end result of this step. The next one is very simple. We use our saturated green, but this time we won't mix it with the previous green that was darker. With this new step, we will push on the light planes, and again we cover less surface than before. The green we're using has a lot of yellow, so after this step, we will have a very saturated result. This is very important to achieve a very greenish skin. After this step, due to that very luminous yellow, we will achieve a higher contrast and definition. And as we said before, we will cover less surface. Changing to a smaller brush can be helpful on this step. To make some adjustments on parts that might be a little bit too dark, we can add some tones we used during the process. Like in the inner part of the arm, where we don't need a tone as light as the one on the upper part. For our next slide, we add Vallejo's Model Color Basic Skin Tone and Citadel's Flash Kits to the palette. Here you can see the result after this step. For the new light step, we mix Flash Kits, Basic Skin Tone and the green tone we used on the previous step. We check the tone on the figure to see if it's light enough. We have added basic skin tone to the mix, so now we have a tone that has more white in it. We add this new light to very specific areas. Here you can see the result after this step, and now we will add more points of light, mixing only basic skin tone and Flash Kits. We add this tone in very specific areas, we add it in the areas that would be more exposed to the light, and after this step we will have achieved a very high definition. This would be the final result after this last step. Using only basic skin tone, we add the last points of light. And this is how it looks like after the last step. Now we will focus on the next steps, and we will add color variations and more detail to the skin. This tone you're seeing on the palette is AK's Wine Red. It's a quite cold red tone. We will add it to the mouth and the eyes. Now we use Citadel Squeak Orange to add more color variation to the skin and to make the skin look more natural. These orange and red tones will create a very good contrast with the green skin. We choose the areas where we think this orangey tone will look good, like the mouth, the lips, and the nose. We will also add it to some areas of the arms. We dilute the paint a little bit this time because we don't want to cover excessively all the work we've done on the previous steps. Using basic skin tone and a little bit of black, we achieve this grey tone for the teeth. As you can see on the palette, to illuminate the orangey parts of the mouth, we add a squeak orange to the light we added to the green skin. With the same tone, we outline and add more detail to the mouth. With a little bit more of basic skin tone and a little bit of yellow, we add the last light to these orange areas. Mixing a little bit of wine red and squeak orange, we achieve a darker and redder tone for the lower part of the mouth and the nose. We also added on some areas of the arms. And this would be the end result after painting the teeth and the eyes. This is a photo David took after finishing all the process. And as a summary, we started with a cooler and bluish base tone using that navy blue, and we continued using warmer green tones, using more yellow each time. This way we achieve a higher temperature contrast, and lastly, we add those orangey and red tones to achieve a higher color diversity, to make the figure look more natural and to create a complementary color contrast. We hope you liked the video, and if you want to see more processes like this one, we invite you to discover David's pledge on Miniature Art Academy. If you subscribe, you will have all the already published videos and you will be able to see 4 videos each month. And at least one of them will be a live stream where you will be able to ask questions. See you in the next videos. Bye!